Well, several organizations are calling for Libya to be suspended from the United Nations Human Rights Council. On Tuesday, the UN General Assembly is meeting to debate the issue. Joining us now from Tel Aviv is Hillel Neuer, the Executive Director at UN Watch, a human rights organization based in Geneva. Thanks for joining us, sir. When we look at what's been going on, this call for Libya to be suspended, now the General Assembly going to debate that, is this all too little too late?
Well, it's not too late, but it certainly is late, and it certainly is a small step. Human rights groups led by UN Watch have been calling for Libya to be removed the day it was chosen. You know, this whole episode, the fact that Libya has to be removed, underscores the fact that the Gaddafi regime was elected with 155 votes out of 192 countries in May by the General Assembly, despite appeals by UN Watch and dozens of other human rights groups, that the Gaddafi regime was a murderous government which had no place at the world's top human rights body. So the question is, why was it elected in the first place? And the question is what will the UN do going forward with other murderous and oppressive regimes who sit on the Human Rights Council?
Well, what kind of an impact is a suspension going to have?
Well, it's really only the beginning. Let's be clear. People are being killed, as we've seen on your broadcast, in Libya, and the international community has to do its part. We've seen good steps at the Security Council with the reference to the International Criminal Court, travel ban, and so forth. The suspension of Libya from the Human Rights Council is a symbol. It signals to the regime that the international community rejects Libya's credentials as a government that supports human rights. Of course, it is a country that has systematically violated human rights, and it's something that everybody knew. And this kind of message should have gone out a long time ago. Let's recall that at the United Nations, not only was Libya elected to the Human Rights Council, but sitting on its advisory committee is a man named Jean Ziegler, a Swiss politician who created the Muammar Gaddafi Human Rights Prize in 1989, which has been given to Fidel Castro, Hugo Chavez, a Holocaust denier, Roger Garaudy, and recently to Erdogan, the Prime Minister of Turkey. So the United Nations also chose Libya to head its World Conference on Racism from 2007 to 2009, the Durban Review Conference. So time and again, the United Nations has rewarded this murderous, racist regime. It's a regime that has systematically persecuted over 1 million black Africans in that country. They're now being used cynically as mercenaries. So all of this has been known, and that the United Nations has not only turned a blind eye to these abuses, but has rewarded this regime. Libya was also the president of the General Assembly only a year ago. Libya, a couple years ago, was sitting on the Security Council. Every door that the United Nations has was open to Libya. Colonel Gaddafi's daughter, Aisha Gaddafi, was a quote-unquote goodwill ambassador of the UNDP. So this is really a wake-up call to the United Nations.
We're going to have to leave it there. Thanks for joining us.